Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast with Phil Graham. We help you master Facebook ads and give you an unfair advantage over your competition. Are you ready? Let's go.
What's up, podcast family? Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast, episode 401. I'm Phil Graham, and I'm so excited you're here because today I'm going to share what I would consider some best practices for Facebook and Instagram ads here in 2025. So my friends, 2025 is the year for amazing opportunities, but many people will fail, and I don't want that to be you. So many advertisers are running their ads in a way that causes them to lose money and fail, or even increases those chances. And so this year, I really invite you guys to commit to learning more about how to run ads, what I would consider the right way, and committing some budget to your ads. Bet on yourself. Ads can give you guaranteed reach based off of how much you spend. Obviously, you can't guarantee a result, but you can guarantee that your ad gets out there and it can help you stand out. Don't just try it out for a couple days or a couple weeks. Bet on yourself. This is a great time to be running ads. And if you didn't listen to my episode last week, episode 400, it was about why you should go all in on Facebook and Instagram ads this year. Make sure you listen to that. Today is all about the how, as will be future episodes as well. So before we jump into the content, if you guys are looking for any help with your ads, whether it's AI, consulting, or somebody running your ads for you, just go to my website, philgrahamdigital.com, or you can DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital, and I would love to connect with you and see if it's the right fit. I'm going to try and keep this episode pretty short, sweet, and full of value and very actionable. And let's talk about AI first. I recommend you guys embrace AI, but not how most people are using it, because it can be a huge mistake that can be very costly. There's a lot of people that just use ChatGPT or another AI provider to just give them their ad copy from scratch, and it causes a lot of issues for a lot of advertisers. And there's many reasons for that. And I love AI, but you've got to give it the right information in order to have it help you the most. And so I'm going to be teaching more about this throughout the year. I have another podcast on this that I'm excited to share with you. But in a nutshell, right now, what I would be doing is I would be using AI for research, for rough drafts of your copy, and also for competitive analysis. And I think those are great places to start. And then later on, I'm going to teach you how to build something in AI that'll just blow your mind, but that'll be a different episode. But embracing AI, but not making the mistakes that a lot of people make, is a great way to set yourself up in 2025 to give yourself a better chance to succeed. Again, we're going to have a lot more about this because I could do 20 episodes on this. I'm not going to be able to teach the how of this in this episode, other than the couple things I just mentioned, because it would take forever. But you better believe I got a lot of stuff coming up for you. And obviously, if you want more immediate help with it, you can contact me for consulting or having ads run for you. All right, number 2, I highly recommend you guys stop the distraction machine and tune out the noise. There is so much crap out there online, everywhere. It is ridiculous. Here's one thing that I want you to realize. Think about influencers for a second. Now, I don't hate influencers at all. I'm friends with many of them, and I've worked with them and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you know what most influencers are? They're salespeople. They are not just influencing and being online for fun. They're doing it for money. And there's nothing wrong with that, but don't get it twisted. You got to know what it really is. And so there's a lot of bad ones out there. There's a lot of narcissistic crap out there. There's a lot of people doing things and teaching things that they really don't know anything about just to get attention so they can try and monetize the attention. Look, your time is valuable. Your mind is valuable. And you've got to be wary of people that do these types of things, and especially people that claim to be experts at everything. I'll tell you what, when you look online and you see what somebody is talking about, and I'm not just talking about, just commenting on it, but they act like they're an expert on everything, on political stuff, on world affairs, on wars, on business, on AI, on crypto. I mean, you can't be an expert on everything. That's a huge red flag. So I would suggest and recommend that one of the ways to crush it with ads this year and with your business and success in general this year is to stop that distraction machine and tune out all that crap. Tune out all the noise. It doesn't mean don't learn things, but just be very mindful of what you're consuming, who you're consuming it from, and how much time you're spending consuming. That's why I try and keep these podcast episodes as short as possible and very actionable. And there's not a bunch of crap. There's not a bunch of fluff. It's for you. And so be very careful. If you guys cut down on distractions, that can give you a big advantage and a big edge. Because you know what? Most people are kind of like sheep in a way. And they're just blindly on social media kind of all the time. And they're addicted to it. And that's a huge disadvantage that social media companies love because it keeps them on the platform. It's also great for us advertisers because we can benefit from that. But don't let that be you who's disadvantaged. Okay, the next tip for you guys, I highly recommend you avoid some common misconceptions that I've even seen so-called experts talking about. One of the big ones is about targeting when it comes to Facebook ads. There are people that say you should only ever target Advantage Plus and that's it. Don't target anybody else. I highly, highly disagree with that. And you want to know why? It's not just because I want to disagree just to disagree. It's because of data. I can show you ad accounts, even recently, where interest in segmented audiences sometimes perform a lot better than Advantage Plus. And also vice versa. I like Advantage Plus, but I would not just only use that. I think that could be a huge mistake for certain advertisers. So be very careful, not only who you're listening to, but what information you're taking in. Because at the end of the day, it should be about testing because things work for some advertisers and not for others. You've got to learn how to properly test and adjust to the data. And I do not like these people that are misleading, what I would consider misleading, and saying you should only do Advantage Plus. I think that's a mistake. Now, if you test it out and that's what works best, maybe even then I can probably find some great segmented audiences that work just as good, if not better. But, most people just blindly kind of just do what somebody says and they may be missing out on a lot of opportunities, or it might be why they're failing. So be very careful. And again, to be clear, I like Advantage Plus. I use it a ton, but I also test other audiences. I don't just do Advantage Plus and never test anything else. The next tip for you guys is I highly recommend leveraging videos to your advantage here in 2025. I love video ads so much because they can really help you stand out, whether it's you on the video or your product or service being shown, or maybe a combination of both. Or maybe you have some user-generated content or an influencer doing it for you, or whatever the case may be. People love watching video. Another thing I love about video is it gives you multiple retargeting opportunities. They could be on Facebook or Instagram and watch your video, and for whatever reason, they didn't click to go on your website. They didn't even have to click like or comment or share, but if they watched your video, that's somebody you can potentially retarget. That's a retargeting option. So there's multiple options in retargeting ways that you can get back in front of them when you have video. Another thing is video can sometimes really accelerate the know, like, and trust factor. If they feel like they trust you or they like you, that can help somebody do business with you or trust your brand more. So there's a lot of reasons for it, but I highly recommend leveraging videos. We're going to talk a lot more about that. I've got an episode all about doing great videos for 2025 coming up. But make sure you guys are leveraging videos to your advantage this year. My next tip is for you guys to become great at creative testing. Creative testing in so many ways is probably going to be a huge game changer here in 2025. Yes, there are people that just use big, broad audiences, and then there's others like me who use both broad and segmented. Regardless, you've got to have good creatives to your audiences, and you've got to get good at testing different creatives. And that means images, carousels, videos, and of course, hooks, ad copy, landing page stuff, offers, and all of the other things that go with it. So what I recommend for you guys for this year is to really focus on testing different things, letting them run long enough, and really using that data to see what's good, what's not. When something doesn't work well, you got to figure out why. And then when you do, you can fix it. You can do less of it. And then when you have things working, if you know why, you can scale it much more confidently. But make sure you're testing. Make sure you're not just randomly running things. Because if you're testing, going with strategy, upskilling yourself, and using data, that gives you such a big advantage. My next tip is for your creatives, and that's really using the right marketing strategy. And I really call it the value first strategy. What I recommend is that you guys educate people, entertain them, inspire them, and really differentiate from all the other stuff that's out there. And be consistent with all that. It's so important. If you can do that and not just sell, I think it can give you a big advantage in 2025. My next tip for you guys, I know this will sound a little weird about crushing meta ads, but my next tip is to also think about leveraging additional ad platforms. That can also help your Facebook and Instagram ads when somebody sees you somewhere else. It all kind of comes together. So maybe you start running an ad on Google or YouTube or TikTok or Pinterest or LinkedIn. We've run ads on all those platforms and others as well. I know this is a Facebook ads podcast, but I like running ads on all those platforms. It's just Facebook and Instagram are my favorite by far. But if you've got the budget for it, I recommend thinking about leveraging some additional platforms this year. Now, if you don't have a large budget, then I wouldn't do that because you don't want to spread your budget too thin. But if you got plenty to work with, definitely check out some additional platforms. I would still have your main spend on Facebook and Instagram, but don't ignore some of the other opportunities out there as well. And then my last two things is don't just add to the noise when you're running ads. Really focus, like I said, on value first and really focus on your differentiation, your credibility, and do things differently. And at the end of the day, when you're running ads and you're talking about how you're different and what you offer and inspiring people, remember to always point out why that matters to them. It's not just the fact that you're different. It's not just the fact that you're giving value. What can that do for your ideal customers or clients? Always remember to bring it back to them. And then lastly, let's talk about mindset. You know, a lot of people will get nervous when they spend money on ads. It's risky, but guess what? Not spending money on ads is also very risky. In fact, some people would say that might even be more risky, especially if you really want or need more clients or customers. So really make sure that your mindset is where it needs to be, because what you don't want to do, you don't want to run ads scared. You don't want to run some ads and then 3 days later turn them off because you're freaked out that it hasn't done anything for you yet. That's a recipe for failure when you think like that. So you've got to have the right mindset. You know, with some clients, especially consulting clients, I have to work with them on their mindset as much as their ads. And others, they don't need that at all. Everybody's different. But if you do need some of that, it's okay. You're not alone. That's normal. But don't let that get in your way, because if it does, it could really hurt you. It could cost you. So those were some of my best practices for Facebook and Instagram ads here in 2025. On next week's episode, I'm going to be sharing my ultimate guide to Facebook and Instagram video ads in 2025. But until then, if you guys have questions, philgrahamdigital.com is the website, or you can DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital. And as always, just a reminder, every business is unique, results can vary, there are no guaranteed outcomes, so just always keep that in mind. Episode 401 is in the books. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I will talk to you on next week's episode. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast. Please remember to subscribe and share this with all your friends. For show notes, more tips, and to learn more about Phil, please visit philgrahamdigital.com/podcast.